Welcome back to the webcast All Sports One Web, the weekly sports channel where every single Wednesday we are talking about the Premier League. This week's episode is all about the first week, recapping the first week and previewing week 2. I'm Adam. That's Doug. Let's go! All right, the first week of Premier League action. We're back in the season. It feels so good. Doug, how are we feeling today?
Just happy to have soccer back.
Yeah,
Happy to have it back.
Yeah, it's been so nice. So today's episode, we're just going to be recapping the first week, give our thoughts, our opinions on all the games, and then dive into week 2. And do a little bit of the webcast predictions and a little bit of a pick 'em and lock those in for week 2. So we will start with, I don't know, maybe one of the more anticipated games of the first game week, which was Friday night when Arsenal took on Crystal Palace. London rivalry there, but really, could Arsenal keep their preseason form going? And how is Crystal Palace going to look without Conor Gallagher there in the middle of the field? A couple new signings. Benteke now with DC United in the MLS. So very interesting to see. Arsenal looked, in my opinion, just flawless from back to front. But what were your thoughts on that one?
Arsenal looked as good as I thought they would. They just look like a team that has been playing together for years. It was amazing the way that they were able to move the ball, and I mean, Jesus just having the freedom to do whatever he wants, not being stuck in a role that maybe he's not suited for. Him and Odegaard playing off of each other, they are insane. It's going to be a really good season for them.
Yeah, it was incredible to see. I mean, even in the preseason, especially that game against Chelsea in the preseason, they were so fluid.
Yes.
It's like you said, that they've been seems like they've been playing with each other for years.
It's crazy.
And, I think the most impressive thing for me in the preseason as well, but even especially against Crystal Palace, was that back line. I mean, even with Ben White playing as a right back temporarily, I thought Ben White had an absolute fantastic game, but even with
Zaha all day, it was it was great.
It's super fun to watch those duels 1-on-1, and I don't think Zaha really created that much, so
no,
it was super exciting to watch. And I think two ways about this. Arsenal are playing really well, so especially in the beginning of the season, I think that they can really take on anyone just purely based on their current form. It almost seems like a mid-season form. And then on the other side, because it seems like almost a mid-season form, I feel like this is where they're going to cap out. So if we hit a bump in a road, or if they start having a little bit of an injury problem, or even the results don't go their way, I feel like this thing could start to crumble a little bit, because I don't know that they have any different way of playing. This seems like the cap to me, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Palace looked really good.
Yeah.
It's just Arsenal were much better.
Yeah.
But I think Palace is going to cause some teams some problems.
Only conceding 43 or 46 goals last season. And that's pretty much still intact. They let 2 against, Arsenal, but one of that Mark Gahey goal, that own goal, was just, what was that? That was unlucky.
Exactly. That was really
but that was a great game and a great start to the Premier League season. And then we wake up Saturday morning to almost an even better game when Liverpool went to Craven Cottage to take on Fulham. And we got to see the best celebration in the EPL. Mitrovic with 2 goals himself, and Liverpool having to fight back both times to just steal a point. Not the start that they wanted, but what a great game from Fulham.
They did not. Liverpool did not live up to my winning the Premier League expectations in that first game. I mean, that happens though. It happens every year to one of the big teams. They always kind of stumble.
Yeah, City lost last year. Opening game.
So, but Fulham looked great. They looked aggressive. They didn't look like they were saying, okay, we're playing Liverpool, we have to be careful. They were saying we're playing Liverpool, and if they score a goal, we need to claw back. And so they decided just to score 2 right away. They just decided, let's just score 2, see if they can score.
Yeah, what great character from. I know they seem like they've always been a Premier League team. They go down, they come right back up. Yes. They go down, they come right back up. But the great character to be back in the Premier League and to bounce back and regain the lead there.
Yeah. And I think Pereira was a great ad for them, because that's what Mitrovic needed, was somebody speedy that can take all of the. He's not the only focus.
Yeah, and the confidence from him to just take people on, Trent Alexander-Arnold, everyone, he was just going at them. And what are your thoughts on kind of Klopp taking it slow with Núñez? Darwin started the Community Shield, played the full 90 minutes. They scored 3 goals. He grabbed 2 of them. Then he doesn't play for the first 50 minutes of this game. And they have 0 shots on target. He comes on. They then he scores and assists his 2 goals in just 40 minutes. So what are your thoughts? Do you think next week he's going to start, or
I think
would you start him?
We should all pick him up in the fantasy league, because I think it's impossible not to play him until he shows that he. It was just kind of beginner's luck, if you will, or whatever you want to call it.
He has 3 out of the 5 goals, and
that's what I mean. You can't bench the guy that's scoring over half your goals right now.
Yeah,
in the past 3 games. So you have to play him.
That was the surprise for me, that he started on the bench, because of the fact that he started the Community Shield. That really threw me off a bit. So it was really interesting to see that.
I think he's playing. I think they're trying to play it where Firmino has been there, so they want to. Okay, Darwin, you need to earn your spot. Well, I think he's earned it. I think that whole debate done. He's earned his spot. Tottenham did the same type of thing, but we'll get to them later.
Oh yes, we will. Yes, we will. I totally agree. I mean, you can't have someone who has 4 out of your 8 shots on target, 3 out of your 5 goals, and an assist when he's on the field, and when he's off the field, you have 0 shots on target, and not start him, especially with a draw. And now you're playing catch up to City, which is never a good thing, even if it's just game week 1. Other teams playing catch up are nicely ranked 6th place Aston Villa from our prediction show last week, laying an egg against Bournemouth. I was not impressed with the overall performance. Ollie Watkins coming on in the second half, I felt like gave them a little bit more life, but Bournemouth scoring an early goal off a set piece, scoring a late goal practically off of another set piece, and that was kind of all she wrote. And another promoted team getting a result at home on the opening day of the season. Where have we seen that before? So that was crazy, but almost. But Leeds then said, hold my beer, as they played Wolves, and Aronson got the 90th minute winner. Well, it was really an own goal, but great to see him and Tyler Adams, the 2 Americans, kind of heavily involved with that last goal. And now Connor Cody transferred to Everton. That could help, strengthen Everton's defense. But Wolves, who hang their hat on their back line to lose Connor Cody.
Their captain.
Interesting. Yeah. Is he the captain too?
He's their captain.
Captain.
You
can't bench me. I'm the captain.
Yeah. He's
Landon Donovan.
He's their catalyst for their back line. He's the general on the field. And now, Everton lost Ben Godfrey in like the 10th minute. Into a pretty horrific looking injury.
Yeah.
And just devastating injury. And now if he's going to be next to Tarkowski and who else was their other guy? Yerry Mina, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
Yerry
gosh,
Mina,
man, him and it.
Tarkowski,
Oh
and Connor Cody. That's a
yeah,
pretty tough
that's
back three. I mean, they're
solid,
not the biggest
big.
names, but they're a scrappy
They
back
are a
three.
big force to muscle
Yeah,
around with. I mean, Mina in himself is a huge feisty guy. We saw
yeah,
that. We'll get to that game where he got his yellow card for talking during the penalty, but. Um, Yeah, so that led Leeds. I thought was played really well in that game, and who I also thought played really well, also at home, Newcastle when they took on the third promoted team. My personal pick for going the furthest and actually retaining their spot in the Premier League, uh, Nottingham Forest, and Newcastle just looked great. The fans played such a huge role in that game. I mean, even just watching it on television, you could feel the buzz about how excited that fan base is to have new ownership and to have a team that's starting to click under Eddie Howe and really come together with some of these new signings and just play really well, especially at home. I mean, they were in control for me from start to finish against Forest. I'm excited now to see next week when Forest, after 23 years not in the Premier League, goes home and plays their first home game in that massive stadium. Yeah, that I'm super excited for, especially the way they played in the FA Cup last year against some of the big boys. I think that fan base is just gonna go nuts.
yeah. I'm happy to see that Newcastle. I'm happy to see that their fans are still with them. They haven't made any super big marquee signings with all this money that they brought in. You know, they were talking of like Bale and getting all these enormous
Mbappe jumped in there for a little bit,
and they were even talking Ronaldo. I mean, they had every name in the book. They didn't sign any big names.
No.
And a lot of fan bases would get pretty upset with that, bringing in all this money and then they're signing the likes of Trippier and just players.
Great signings, Callum Wilson.
It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm happy to see that they're still backing them because I think Newcastle is going to be a pretty good team this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think one to watch out for. A definite team that at the top 6 don't want to go and have to pick up 3 points at the end of the season because that's going to be difficult. A team that had zero trouble picking up. Well, I shouldn't say zero with Ward-Prowse's goal there early in the game, but Spurs put 4 past Southampton, and you, unlike your fantasy team. Completely unlike your fantasy team. I mean, your fantasy team is on the bottom of the league. Tottenham, however, top of the league.
Thanks for that.
Of course. On goal differential, top of the league, 4 goals. How you feeling?
Well, Tottenham looked fantastic. With the ball, without the ball. I mean, in all 4 key aspects of the game. We lost the ball, we would just collapse and try and get it back. We'd win the ball, everybody would take off down the field. I mean, it was amazing to watch. And what I liked the most is that we didn't play any of our 6 signings because they're there to earn their spots.
I thought that was a great message that Conte sent to the whole squad.
It made our squad play for their position. They played for their spots. And so they came out and they did not want to lose their spots, and it showed. Kulusevski and Sessegnon really impressed me.
They were
Kane was
all
on the field or not, it wouldn't have even mattered. Because we never even used him. I mean, it's like
it was just one long ball from one corner to the other corner. That's all it was all game.
I mean, it was just nonstop crosses into the box. It was really, really good to watch as a Spurs fan because we haven't seen that since Pochettino.
When you predicted, you placed Southampton last week in our prediction show as the third team, along with Bournemouth and Fulham, to go down this season. And at first, I was a little bit, taken back by that. But I think you might be completely right on that. I know Spurs played well.
Goal scorer right now.
Well, yeah, not just that. I think mainly because of the fact that their oldest their oldest player in their back line, including their goalkeeper, is 26. Their center defensive mid is academy, grew up or came from Manchester City's U19 team. He's 18 years old, starting in the Premier League against Tottenham in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, that's the biggest. If that's what you were relying on,
he did not have a good time.
he could not have a good time. There was no way, especially when he's in front of, oh my gosh, that own goal by Salisu was, I mean, that's going to be own goal of the season. Yeah. I don't even know how that was physically possible. And to have, I mean, so their left wing back, their left center back, and are both under 25, I think 24 even. And then with that defensive mid at 18, they just looked lost. They gave Kulusevski, I think I was looking at his statistics earlier, and he had like way more pass accuracy, up by like 10%, long pass accuracy up by like 10%, duels or touches up by 15. I think he touched the ball 60 times in the game with just 5 yards of space anywhere to pick a pass. Yeah,
it's going to be rough.
Yeah, and as we'll get to this in the prediction show, but with Chelsea playing Tottenham, I was super excited to see that Basuma only got 2 minutes and picked up a yellow card. That was great. I don't want him sitting in the midfield. Last year for Brighton at Stamford Bridge, he bossed our midfield. I really hope he doesn't start in this week, but maybe he will, because I don't know. I mean, Højbjerg and Bentancur are good, but I don't think they're on Basuma's level if he is fit enough. But then again, I don't know. Has Basuma run his 60 suicides that Conte made everybody else run in preseason? I don't know. So
maybe not yet. He probably will.
Yeah, but man, what a start from Spurs. Really, taking that performance from Arsenal and just, taking advantage of Liverpool dropping points and really setting the pace. Two teams that failed to set any kind of pace throughout the entire game, Everton and Chelsea. To finish up the games on Saturday, was a cry for help in the middle of the park. I don't know.
Slow-paced game.
It's slow. Everyone just looked kind of out of it a bit. Almost like what you would expect most of the time to open a season, especially a season that's starting early due to the World Cup in November. A lot of transfers coming in. I mean, Cucurella signed like 5 days ago, and he got 30 minutes, or got 15-ish minutes. But it just seemed so slow and very, kind of worrying overall. I don't know I don't really know what else to say about that. Sterling looked great. Here we have a comment. Yeah, Sterling definitely was the focal point, and I really hope, to kind of copy off Jesus a little bit. Jesus really went for it. I mean, he looked like he was playing with freedom, confidence, something that you didn't really see with Man City. I know anytime the camera zooms in on Jesus, he just looks like he's worried for his life for some reason. But when he's on the ball, he looks confident and ready to go. And Sterling, I hope, can get to that kind of level, because when he's on the ball, his strength, his quickness, I think he can really take us to another level. Timo Werner. Back in Germany, official permanent move back to RB Leipzig. Good luck to him. So now it is all Sterling there on that left-hand side.
What do you think about playing Havertz up top?
See, Havertz is such an interesting player, because you can see flashes of his quality, and you can see why he plays so many games, but he has no tangible end product most of the time.
He's a number 10 to me.
He is
not a number 9. He is a number 10. And you guys don't have a number 9. So
no. Aubameyang is a rumor out there right now.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I don't think he should do that.
I don't think so either, but I'd love to see Broja get more of an opportunity. He came on late last week, but playing, if you want to go far in all the competitions, you're going to be playing upwards of 60 games, and I don't know that Broja is a 60 game number 9, especially for Chelsea. So I really don't know what to do about that. I will say though, I mean, last year Lukaku didn't really, produce that much in the Premier League. I think Mason Mount led us with 11 goals, so Lukaku might have been on 10 or 9. We scored 76 goals last year. With that kind of poor performance, do I think Havertz can at least get 10 goals? Yeah, I expect him to at least get 10 goals.
Better get 10 goals.
So, I mean, and that's another thing too. I think like teams like Chelsea and even teams like Tottenham, even though they scored 4, their points are going to rely on how well they can defend, how well they can maintain, especially Tottenham, and then counter. But so I'm fine with our goals output. Yes, it would be better and safer to score more in the Premier League. 1 goal is never really enough. A corner kick, late push, whatever, and you can concede against anybody. But I'm super excited. Cucurella looked amazing. I think he had 100% pass accuracy. I know it was short time, but there's sometimes 2 or 3 players around him, and he just whip a ball into Sterling down the left-hand side and just pinpoint on a rope. Absolutely fantastic. So really excited. I was watching that game and I was like, I've always been happy with Chilwell. Yes, he got injured last year, but I've always been happy with him. And I was thinking when I watched Cucurella, I was like, wow, you really don't know how much you can improve until you improve. Because he looks absolutely incredible. Cucurella did. So really excited about that.
Another left back that looked really good was Zinchenko.
Yeah, that just the energy that Arsenal played with. And that's what gets me excited, but also concerns me a bit, just because I just don't know how sustainable that is. If that's the reason why they're winning, their ability to win the ball back, create opportunities by pressing together. I mean, obviously that's going to, help in all games, but like, I don't see the goals that are coming from a Kevin De Bruyne pass through 4 players to Haaland that looks like they could do that against anyone at any second, or a Harry Kane that with turn his back towards goal and a ball like at his chest, somehow he's going to head it or flick it in. That kind of quality to keep them above teams like Tottenham, Liverpool, and City. So that's the only thing that worries me about that. But yeah, I totally agree.
I think they have a good chance because they had a lot of chances and they just missed, but in there were just off or they, over the ball.
Yeah. Martinelli should have opened the scoring after 2 minutes with that chance. Yeah.
They had, and by the way, their front 3, what is their total cumulative age? 60. I mean, they have a 19-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 25-year-old.
Yeah. Compare that against Chelsea's back 3 is over 100.
So. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. What's also crazy is that Leicester Brentford game that opened the day on Sunday, because Leicester go up 2 goals. I mean, Ward-Prowse's goal for me was the goal of the weekend. That half side volley was absolutely incredible. But did Leicester so great. He's one of those that you're like, man, I wish someone would give him a shot at like a top 6 club. But Leicester and Brentford definitely went for goal of the weekend. I mean, Leicester, Tielemans was trying his hardest to recreate that long shot against Chelsea in the FA Cup final from 40 yards. I mean, he was just wide of the post. Maddison had a great game, in my opinion. Obviously, the corner kick to lead to the first goal. But I was very surprised with the transfer rumors on Fofana and Maddison and Tielemans and all of that. How well those 3 is particularly played, and maybe they're auditioning for a team.
Hey, you never know.
Hey, was that good? Come get us. Come get us. But they looked great. But man, for Brentford away from home to come back 2 goals down, Ivan Toney obviously popping up to get the first one, and what a goal from De Silva. That was the one that really pushed, I think, Ward-Prowse, and I'd give it to either one of them, but I think I'm edging Ward-Prowse for goal of the weekend. But what a game that was, and 2 teams that I'm excited to see how they can build from that next week, and we'll get to those predictions as well. Sunday just had great action. Probably the surprise of the weekend followed that great game, which was United Brighton. Oh my gosh. McFred
Man,
Oh my goodness,
they can't
McFred.
escape McFred, can they?
Well, they're gonna add Rabiot to that. It looks like, so we'll see how
Which
that works
I
out.
think would be huge for them
Really,
because
I
even if
feel
it's
like it's
just a different person, they
than
need
them.
somebody new.
Uh,
I don't
I
think.
mean
I mean,
that.
Rabiot's nowhere near a De Jong by any stretch of the imagination, but I
Yeah,
think
see,
he's a
so
pretty
that's where
solid.
you got to compare it from that, right?
Yeah, he's a solid
Um,
player, but he's definitely not De Jong.
yeah, exactly. Like De Jong was the one who was supposed to come in the beginning of the season, the Ten Hag connection, bring him in, and have him implement that system, boss the midfield, and really, allow Rashford and Sancho, who I personally think have a chance to grow. Sancho, especially. Rashford, I don't know. I feel like his form, his young years were so good, and
And
now
then
it's
he is
just been
just
staggering like that. But Sancho looked really good preseason. I think he looked good still on Sunday.
I wasn't too
But
impressed with
man,
him in the first half.
no,
In the first
personally,
half,
okay.
I didn't personally
I
find
just
him
feel like they had
doing
no
much.
help. Like you
That
take away the midfield problems, okay, which limits the ball moving forward, that transition. It just they kept there's nothing from them. It was dead.
Yeah. Well, and I
Um,
also think you have only really Rashford who was playing, striker for him. And then you have Fernandez and Eriksson. They don't necessarily
yeah.
go forward.
No,
And
Ericsson's.
Sancho needs two players in the box to do some work with. And
Yeah.
I think, I mean, having Fernandez and Eriksson, I think is a great combination as long as Ronaldo's in front of him.
So yeah, I was about to say Ronaldo being on the bench until the 50th minute, or yeah, 50th minute. I think he came on. He's got to start next game, right? You can't be playing with that
I
kind
mean,
of with those players behind him and not start him.
if they're going to play him at all, after everything that's been happening and he's been saying he wants to leave and he's
Yeah.
throwing a big fit about it or being unprofessional, professional, doesn't matter. They
Yeah.
made the decision that they're going to play him. He has to start.
Yeah.
If they would have benched
Right.
him the entire game to prove a
Yeah.
point and say, look, you're
Okay.
not going to bully us because you're Ronaldo,
Yeah.
like they needed to either take a stand or play him. And since
So
they played
that
him, they got to start him.
Yeah, so that opportunity to prove a point was totally missed there. Huh?
Yeah, it's over. I mean, they can't
Yeah.
bring him on in the 50th minute because they're losing.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
no. You got to either prove the point or well, now they play him.
No, yeah. But a lot has kind of unfolded since that game. Obviously, super deflating for United fans. They haven't had the transfer window that they wanted, and now you have a board member in Michael Knighton, who joined back in the 80s, starting to create this consortium to try and push a hostile bid, a proposal to the Glazers to sell the team for how poor they have been managing, especially since Sir Alex left. So, you see teams like Newcastle, who their new ownership, with the transition from how bad and how much their fans wanted their old ownership out, Mike Ashley, to this new Saudi Arabia backed ownership, and how excited their fans are about everything from the second half of last season to the start of this season. The place is rocking. And then you also, on the flip side, have Chelsea, where they had a transition in ownership and kind of rocked the boat a little bit, lost some players, had some issue, especially getting started, even though they seem to be rolling now, getting started in the transfer market. So if this bid actually kind of comes together fast, and gets pushed towards the Glazer family, especially with all of the protests that the fans have been doing and the reaction that United listens to the fans regularly on transfer decisions, on everything. Do you think that the Glazers will sell? And what do you think, if they can sell before, let's say, the World Cup, at least announce that it's going to be sold, that takeover probably won't happen before then, but announce that? Do you think that's going to galvanize the team and they could push towards a top 4 finish, or you think they're dead in the water regardless?
I don't think top 4.
No.
Unless they have a crazy January. If they can somehow manage to stay around 7th until January, and then they have a crazy January, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But I think that they have been so fed up with the Glazers for so long the past 5, 6, 7 years where they haven't been winning everything, I think that, yeah, it would definitely change the way that United plays. I mean, you could just see their players. They just seem like their heart's not in it.
Yeah.
They just don't seem like they want to play or they want to win and score goals. And that's just not that's not the United everybody knows.
Yeah, not at all. And let's see. They play Liverpool their next home game, so we'll see how the fans react to that game and how they're going to do. And last but not least, the man himself, 2 goals against West Ham for Manchester City. That pass from Kevin De Bruyne, and that finish, it just made it look so easy. Haaland starts behind 3 players. By the time he touches the ball, he's ahead by 5 yards. Classic little, hold the R1 button, curl around the keeper to finish it off. And my goodness,
so
he just looks, he's just another level. He's going to score. I want to change
my golden boot prediction because he's
to just him by 50.
He's going to score 50.
Oh my gosh. And that's the thing. We both said Kevin De Bruyne is going to be our player of the season. And I think a big part of that for us was, he has someone that he hasn't, even Aguero, who was fantastic. And De Bruyne, I always thought played better when Aguero was on the field, but
of course.
Haaland is just a whole nother level in terms of his speed, his power. He's deceptively fast. We saw that with the penalty. He really made up that ground so fast to tip the ball around the keeper before getting fouled. And I think that's just the perfect player for a guy like Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, his passing quality. And so I just think he can destroy the assist record. I think he can. Absolutely. He's going to contribute with goals himself. Now, one of the interesting things with this recent news over the last couple of days, especially since our prediction show, these rumors that Bernardo Silva is kind of tempted to look at offers from Barca and make that happen possibly, especially if Frankie de Jong can be sold. So, 1, do you think that could happen? And 2, if that does happen, do you think that really impacts City or it won't affect them that much?
I think it could happen. Yeah. Everybody wants to go to Barca. That's everybody's end game.
Yeah. Why is this?
Everybody's end game is Barca.
They can't play. Can't pay anyone.
Yeah, and it's not even Real Madrid anymore. It seems like everybody wants to just go to Barca.
Yeah, just to finish second.
Yeah, or third. Atletico has been finishing higher. Yeah. I mean,
they're pretty good this year.
I think it's a very high possibility that he could go. I think he would be stupid to go. Yeah. You could go from winning the league and potentially, and challenging for Champions League every single season for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Or you go to Barca to have nothing but issues, players in and out because they can't pay anybody. Yeah. I think it would be really dumb. And honestly, I don't think City really gets impacted too hard. He's a great player, but
even with adding the fact that Sterling is gone and Fernandinho is gone and Jesus is gone, you lose Bernardo Silva on top of that. You brought in Alvarez as well, but really you only covered 2 positions because Haaland or Alvarez have been interchangeable there. But you still think that's enough, especially trying to challenge on all fronts?
I think if they let Bernardo Silva go, I think they'll just throw their name in the hat for James Maddison or something, and they'll pay money that Leicester can't deny, and they'll give Maddison more money than he's ever thought imaginable. And now they replaced him.
Probably.
Now they replaced him. And Maddison, as we saw, is a great player. And he's got
he needs to go
bright future. So I mean, Tottenham are in the ring for that, but Tottenham doesn't normally get deals over the line. So I'm not.
This summer they got 6.
But I've been thinking about it. We paid $70 million for Richarlison. I don't know.
Was it that much? Really?
I think it could be that much with bonuses and stuff.
Oh,
but $70 million.
Yeah, that's
a lot of money for
for
a player like
a
Richarlison.
backup.
For a
Yeah,
backup, exactly. For somebody who's
I
going to come
totally
in
forgot
every game in the
Lucas
60th.
Moura.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about him.
that's what I
Totally forgot
mean.
about him until
I
he
don't
came
know
on.
why we're
Yeah.
not getting rid of these players that haven't done anything, on a yearly basis, week in, week out. They're really
Yeah.
not producing. Even when they come
Yeah.
off the bench, they give us that spark, but it's just because he's quick. And so he's going to give
Mhm.
any team issues. Like Traore,
Yeah.
they're going to give teams problems because they're so
Yeah,
fast.
they're just fast and yeah.
But their end product isn't there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, what's interesting too about that, I forgot to mention because I found this really interesting when the whole goodbye to Timo Werner and stuff. Wow, 72 million. Wow, thank you for that, for looking that up there. Wow, 72 million.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of money for somebody.
that's a lot of
like
money
him.
for
I
him.
mean, we could have got Dybala for that kind of money.
Oh, yeah. Well, he
went
think
to
even
Roma.
Dybala was on a free.
Well,
Wasn't he?
yeah, but we've been
As
talking
well,
about
but
Dybala for the past few years. But
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Even if he
Yeah.
wasn't on, but he was, I think, on a free, so that would have even been
It's
way
insane.
better, I think. Yeah. But like Timo Werner, for example, a player whose pace was what really gave him an impact, especially at Chelsea. But I mean, he didn't have that much end product. But in the Champions League, and the same kind of with Lucas Moura, with his speed against Ajax, scored, I mean, he scored a hat trick, so I mean that's a lot
in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. But I mean, Timo Werner, I mean, in big games like that, it changes the game. And I think
it definitely does.
I mean, someone posted his record. So he played 17 Champions League games, including 3 quarterfinal games. 2 of them against Real Madrid. He played a semifinal game against Real Madrid and final against City as well in those 17 games, as well as a bunch of group stage games. Undefeated when he started. 17 games. He had, I think, like 8 goals. It just causes problems. And I think with Haaland as well for City, and that's something that, I mean, Aguero was, strong and he was quick, but he isn't Haaland fast. And I think,
Aguero was
you're right.
I think the first few steps, he could make a move, create that distance, and then bury it from wherever he was. Haaland can take off from the halfway line and beat anybody in a sprint.
Yeah, anybody.
I mean, maybe Rudiger can catch up with him or keep up with him. That's about it.
So we'll see that in the Champions League final, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, a great week of games. Super exciting. Premier League's back. It feels so good to have it back. But we got week 2 coming up in a couple days. So let's go ahead and move into our predictions. So Doug and I are going to debate each game and submit a final pick. Starting off with Everton against Aston Villa. Villa with a poor performance against Bournemouth, and Everton looking pedestrian at home in their opener against Chelsea. We can see this is through ESPN's Pick'em. So, if you want to keep track of your weekly picks, go ahead, make an ESPN account and go ahead and log those in here. We're going to be doing that for the rest of the season. So at the end, we can take a look at all of our picks as well as compare to our Premier League table prediction that we did last week. But for this first game, I don't know about you, but I don't see anything besides an Aston Villa victory for this one. I love to believe in Frank Lampard. I think he's going to be one of the first managers sacked this season for a club that's just too big to even be close to the relegation fight, especially being there last year and scaping by the skin on their teeth, really. So
Calvert-Lewin is injured.
Yeah, the injury there.
Not out too long for them, but it's not looking good.
No, definitely not. And I know, especially in that the preseason, Frank Lampard loves to play out of the back. That's what he wants his teams to do, is to be able to play out of the back. And I just do not know that Everton has the full quality not to make mistakes from doing that. I mean, I think, when they play teams that press, I'd love to see Arsenal go against Everton just to see that the fluidity of Arsenal's press. I mean, Liverpool, obviously, but just to see, the youth of Arsenal go at them and see how they handle it would be interesting.
Now with Cody, that's more experience. So to me, it would be less silly mistakes from playing from the back. So you would think, I'm not going to say that they're going to start putting up clean sheets against City, but I think that it's just going to shore it up a little bit for them because Michael Keane has never really impressed me. And I think replacing him with Connor Cody is an enormous upgrade.
Yeah.
And Tarkowski is there. I mean, those are two solid players for two.
Yeah, Mina has been solid for years.
And Mina's been a good player. I mean, he starts for Colombia.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a pretty solid back line.
Yeah, it is, but it's just I don't know. Watching them, I don't know if you saw any of the game. I know it's preseason, and it doesn't really matter. But against Minnesota United, which is a team, obviously mid-season, their mid-season fitness in the MLS, they couldn't handle them at all. I mean, they're giving up chance after chance, and it's preseason and all that stuff, but it just does not look like that passing out of the back. And obviously a change of system like that's going to take some time to adapt to, but I don't see it going as great. But anyway, we got Aston Villa locked in there for that one, and now what
do we think for score on this game?
Oh, yeah, it's home. Villa's home opener. I hope Ollie Watkins starts. Sorry, Danny Ings. And I don't know if I can see Everton scoring. No Richarlison, no Calvert-Lewin. Gordon, he's a kid. And so
he's 12.
Yeah, he's 12. He's totally, he's not much older than 12, that's for sure. And so I'm going to have to go 2-0 Villa.
I was going to say 2-0 too.
Yeah.
And I think Coutinho gets on the board as well.
Oh, yeah. Top of the box curler. Lock it in now. Lock it in. Leicester versus Arsenal. James Maddison linked with Arsenal. Tielemans linked with Arsenal forever. Will this be where they show out, or will Arsenal at home come through again and show that they are a completely different team? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we have to choose Arsenal on this one.
Arsenal. You think it would be close?
I think, I don't know. This is a tough one. Leicester's a good team, but I think not City. I think Arsenal is just playing too good.
Well.
Right now. They're just playing too well.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I have to agree. I don't see anything but an Arsenal win. But then again, I feel like Arsenal is also a team that when it's a little bit like they win when they're not supposed to, and they fail when they're supposed to win. So I wonder, maybe they're in the middle still. So maybe they'll still be riding up. But yeah, I think it'll actually be comfortable this week, just being home. I think Jesus grabs his first goal.
Yep.
I think that the energy there for them, the fans to see them at home with this new team is going to be rocking. So I'm going to go with Arsenal there. But two teams.
I'm thinking it's going to be 3-1.
You think 3-1?
And I think the one.
I just don't think they score.
I think the one is because Maddison is too good.
Yeah.
I think he's
no Jamie Vardy.
He's gonna create something, whether he scores or he creates something or a beautiful corner kick again.
Yeah.
I think he's too good.
Yeah. They're gonna leave.
Arsenal did not see that because the loss of Conor Gallagher for Crystal Palace, they didn't have that creativity. And Ben White shutting down Zaha, they didn't have that.
Yeah, who else is there, right?
You know what I mean? So I think with Maddison, I don't think that their midfield can shut down Maddison.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that, especially with how well he played the past week. They could continue that hot start, but Arsenal's defense for me has been great. So I'm actually probably going to go closer to 3-0 for this one.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. But the next game, two teams that have been playing really well back end of last season and the beginning of this season, Newcastle and then Brighton. I mean, Graham Potter is just, I think so highly of him. He's a fantastic manager. Lamptey didn't even start. They lost Cucurella. They lost Basuma. And just to kind of go into Old Trafford and boss the game like they did, absolutely fantastic. They're going home, back to the South Coast, welcoming Newcastle. What do you got for this one?
This is tough because
58% have picked
58%,
Newcastle?
Yeah.
Oh my
I don't know.
gosh.
I don't know about that. I'm leaning more towards this may be a draw.
A draw? Or you think a high scoring draw or low scoring?
No, I think it's going to be like 1-1.
1-1. I could totally see 1-1.
I think maybe Danny Welbeck will score. He'll finally get on. He'll finally get on the board.
Danny Welbeck, pop it on the score sheet. Nope. Pascal Gross continues to, go for the golden boot with 2 more goals this weekend. You're not feeling
Pascal
it?
Gross is just a solid player.
He is, yeah.
I mean, he doesn't do anything flashy. He doesn't do anything spectacular. He just does everything really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think I can back. I think I can back a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Maybe 2-2 as well. I feel like, Brighton getting behind it, just going for it. Newcastle maybe countering a little bit. I think a 2-2 draw, I could go for that.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So now I don't think we need to answer this one. I think the only question for this one is single hat trick or double hat trick in the first half for Holland on this one. Bournemouth played well, newly promoted. First game for Holland at the Etihad. I just see nothing but a comfortable victory for me.
I see a 4-0.
4-0.
5-0.
Yeah.
I mean, they score at least 3 in this game.
At least 3.
And if they don't, I feel like that's a loss.
Yeah, they should lose points.
Yeah.
All right. So your fantasy team, you already gave the Darwin Núñez pickup. You dropping Kane or what are you doing?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Don't get me wrong. I did a few potential transfers to pick up.
Oh, okay.
To pick up some other players and drop Kane, but we're gonna stick with it for now.
Yeah. Oh man, Holland.
It is August. Don't forget.
It is. True. I forgot. He doesn't score in August. He scores 50 in May though.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now on to Leeds traveling to Southampton. Southampton bounced back on this one after that drubbing that you handed to them, or is Leeds going to continue their American force, Jesse March, in charge there to pick up another win?
Yeah, I think Leeds takes this one.
You think Leeds takes this? Is that 50% too for Leeds?
50%.
Oh my gosh. See, the thing with Leeds is I feel like they're fragile. They're really fragile. And I'm excited about them because Jesse Marsh and Tyler Adams and Aronson and, the American kids there. But I think I would go a draw here.
You're thinking draw, huh?
But Southampton were so bad.
Southampton's pretty bad.
They were so bad.
Who's going to score?
Right, who's going to score? I know, right? It'd have to be like a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse hat trick.
It could. Hey, you never know.
You never know. All right, let's go with it. We'll stick with the Leeds victory. Join the
I don't think they're gonna kill them by any means, but
yeah,
I think that they will win.
Okay.
Bamford's too good of a player.
What a great assist he had too. Happy to see him back after that long injury he had last year. It was great to see him back.
Yeah, with Rodrigo as well. I mean, when they play together,
they're
a good duo.
Yeah, and even losing Phillips, losing Rafinha, they definitely have bounced back pretty well there.
Yeah,
I was surprised, but I guess that's why I think they're fragile because I feel like they should be doing worse. Fulham to the Midlands to take on Wolverhampton. That's a tough one. What are you thinking about this one? 60%. Wolves really good at home, especially defensively. They lost Connor Cody, obviously. Fulham off of a great point at home.
Huge point.
Oh man, what do you see happening here?
Wolves always play good at home.
They do.
They really do.
Yeah.
But I think losing Connor Cody is going to be a bigger deal than Wolves maybe predicted. I don't know why they would let him go.
Yeah.
But I think this will be a draw.
A draw. I could see a 1-1 draw for this one.
I think a 1-1 as well. I think it's going to be a Mitrovic
penalty.
Yeah.
Corner kick for Wolves. Yeah. I love it. I love it. That and the Ward Prowse. Oh my gosh, golf swing is
Yeah, those are two
great.
pretty good. Those are two
Great
pretty good
celebration.
ones. I'm thinking of 1-1.
1-1. All right. All right. Redemption for Manchester United as they take on Brentford, or Brentford going to use the crowd as their home opener and take all 3 points. What are your thoughts? 80% with United. They're really going for a back. You know, that's all the United fans on ESPN.
Yeah, they. This is tough. Brentford, I don't think is great by any means.
Coming back though against Leicester, 2-2.
Yeah,
They're being down 2-0.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think Leicester right now is a better team than United. So I guess you're right.
So by that, you'd give Brentford the win, all 3 points?
I think so.
Wow.
That's what I'm thinking. I think they might actually win.
I could see Ronaldo starting. I think
They
the
play with a
energy
back
for
three.
Brentford. Yeah, but it's Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I could see a 2-1 Brentford, though.
But you also,
I could see it.
I mean, if Ronaldo starts and you have Fernandez, Eriksson, and Sancho,
someone's finding him.
Somebody's going to find him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but then
you
have
could
McFred.
You could play a back
and Maguire.
and
Shaw.
somebody's going to find him.
But is it enough? Is it going to be enough?
I don't know.
You know, I love to believe in Brentford. Maybe this one will
defense is
really a draw.
Pretty bad.
Ronaldo rescues at late like he usually does.
Yeah. I'm thinking this might be a draw.
A draw. Wow, we got a lot of draws in here. I'm for it, though. All right, let's go. Draw. All right. West Ham, after, running into a buzzsaw that is Man City, have the unlucky draw of playing Nottingham Forest for their home opener after 23 years of not being in the Premier League. I cannot see, I don't care, unless this was City or Liverpool doing this, I just do not see anything but Forest win, purely because of the crowd. Yeah. And I feel bad because West Ham, and they're solid and they just hit a buzzsaw last weekend, but that place is going to be rocking. And it's it's the Sunday morning game. So yeah. What do you think, though? Is that 90% pick?
90% picked West Ham.
Oh wow, I'm definitely in the minority. Huh?
Agreeing with your crowd is the 12th man. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I think I agree with you.
Yeah, are we going to do it? That's it. That's what the webcast is all about, guys. The predictions that you don't see coming that will definitely come true. Nottingham Forest, mark it down. Victors over West Ham.
What do you think the score is going to be?
Is
Lingardinho get on the scoreboard?
Oh, I would love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Break out the Pied Piper celebration as well after that. Oh, that would be great. I would love to see it.
I think I see it happening.
Yeah. Oh, it's happening.
I think I see that happening.
Home debuts for players. I don't know why. It just seems like they're going to score. Jesus is going to score. Holland's going to score, 17 goals. And, top that off with a Lingard brace even at home for us. And we'd have ourselves a great weekend.
I think it's going to be 2-1 Forest.
2-1. All right. I can get that too. Yeah. 2-1. Wow. All right. We're going to save that one for last. We'll save that one for last. Go to the next one here. This is Monday night game.
Well, this
is Monday night. So Palace go from playing Friday night under the lights at home to under the lights on a Monday against Liverpool.
Good luck
in their home opener after drawing to Fulham.
Yeah, good luck.
Fireworks. I see fireworks.
Yeah.
And as the trend, I think, will continue, not only for just the way that the team plays when Darwin Núñez is in the team, but the debut home games. Well, not debut, but I think he's going to score one or two, and I see Liverpool comfortable here.
Yeah, rough start for Palace.
Yeah, not
rough start for Palace.
Not the
away
best.
To Arsenal, away to Liverpool. rough start for Palace because they're a much better team than what these scores are going to show.
Yeah,
these past two games.
yeah,
But definitely Liverpool, probably very comfortable.
okay.
3-0. 3-0.
3-0. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a comfortable game. They're going to have 70% possession.
Yeah,
it's going to be a rough one for them.
Yeah, especially with the way that Virgil van Dijk, I think, gave up his first penalty as a Liverpool player. Alexander-Arnold got bullied against Andreas Pereira and Mitrovic, especially for that first goal. So I think they are out to prove that the Community Shield performance is going to be more common this year. And so yeah, I agree. All right, the big one, arguably, of the weekend,
and the closest game by the fan.
Picked wise. Oh wow, we got 30-30-30, huh? Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean, preseason, a lot of pundits, reports, they're all picking Tottenham to be a top 3 team. Chelsea, maybe, the second half of the top 10 kind of team with preseason. Obviously, both teams lived up to that estimation last weekend. Both got a win, though. Chelsea looking not great against Everton, and Tottenham obviously flying against relegation. Yes, they will get relegated. Southampton. So I hope not, though. I love Southampton, but that was bad. That was just rough.
I would feel bad, but
especially you predicted it. So
but they're not good.
They're not good. But so what do you see here? Do you see any of the 6 breaking the starting lineup for the new signings for Tottenham going to Stamford Bridge, which Spurs have not had the greatest luck at Stamford Bridge over recent
Dele
years?
Alli has, but we don't know.
Yeah,
we no longer have
Dele Alli. Gosh.
So I bet you're very excited to see us.
Yeah, when he came on against Everton. I was like, of course he's going to score. And then he should have scored. He should have scored.
I think that Spurs are going to come out flying.
Okay.
I think that we are going to
energy-wise
fast, full force ahead. And I think Chelsea will probably be able to stop it because they have a really good back 3. And it's going to leave us open to the counter. And our defense is not quite as good. But I think it's going to be a high pace, high energy. I think it's going to be a great game. Right now, I think Tottenham's going to win.
You think Tottenham? Okay. You think it'll be close and Tottenham win? All right. Well, it's hard to argue with form, but I'm going to try. I think Kulusevski had a great game last week. He obviously performed well when you brought him in last, January, right? Mm-hmm. And he's been great. The front 3 have been great under Conte. And the way that you guys can, counterattack is phenomenal. And Chelsea with, like I said earlier, an average age of 100 in the back 3 between Azpilicueta, who signed a 2-year extension, which is exciting. But Koulibaly and Thiago Silva is just going to, I think, cause us some problems. But I think Kulusevski played really well last week, like I said, but I feel like Cucurella or Chilwell, whoever starts, probably, I think actually Cucurella might start there, left wing back, but I don't think he's going to have that time and space. And I think, especially with Sterling and Cucurella, if Cucurella is in there, Kulusevski's going to be pushed back a lot more than he was kind of playing in that top front 3 with against Southampton, where he's kind of just always on that right-hand side. I mean, he was always on like the touchline too. It seemed like just waiting for the ball in acres of space to play that long ball across. I don't think he'll have that much space. I do think that a counterattack would be a problem against us. And I do worry, us being at home, that we're going to try and possess and open ourselves up to that a little bit. So, my gosh, I cannot pick Tottenham to win, but I think I'm going to have to.
I think
because we are objective here on the webcast. We do not follow biases here. We try to be as objective as possible. And
I think the problem is Richarlison's off his 1-game suspension from last year.
Oh, he was suspended?
Yeah. He's got the speed. to create problems for Thiago Silva.
Yeah,
And
I mean, Son
and Son on the left side. If you bring in Richarlison on the right, because Kulusevski's not blazing fast. But you bring in Richarlison and you have Son, Richarlison, and then Kane kind of dropping back.
Yeah,
I think that leaves a big gap. I don't know, because you guys are so solid in the back.
Yeah, that's why I think it'll be
Conte, who covers 60% of the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I think 0-0 draw or 1-0 Tottenham, and I would probably lean towards a 1-0 Tottenham victory. Sadly,
yeah. I'm definitely going to pick Tottenham off of that.
Well, all right. Well, we'll see how it goes, but that is our predictions for week 2. Lock them in there. Again, if you want to do your own picks there on ESPN Fantasy, go ahead, make an account, go in there, lock your picks in to kind of go with us throughout the season. Every Wednesdays, Doug and I are talking everything about the Premier League, doing our picks every week. So we'll be locking them in with you. All of the artwork, by the way, for the show, you can check it out. It's by Smiley Sports Artwork. The link in the description below. So please go check that out. The webcast logo, the Holland image that's been flashing behind me, and much more artwork coming from her as we move on through the podcast, especially when we open up to more sports. Stay tuned for that here on the webcast, All Sports One Web. I'm Adam. That's Doug. Thanks for joining us for our second episode, and we'll see you all next week.
See you guys.